Over 1,000 Mexican-American families were displaced when Dodger Stadium was built in 1962. The communities of Palo Verde, Loma, and Bishop were three small close-knit towns where these families lived. In these communities, residents cultivated their own food, cared for their own animals, organized their own events, and many owned the land that they lived on. Neighbors knew each other so well that most of them didn't even lock their doors during the day. And despite their self-sufficiency, the city viewed the area as ripe for redevelopment, as many homes lacked power or indoor plumbing. The Federal Housing Act of 1949 provided funding to the city of Los Angeles, prompting plans for a massive public housing project. However, the local residents stood in the way. In 1950, the city informed the people of Palo Verde, La Loma, and Bishop that they had to sell their land to the city under the eminent domain law. The land was to be turned into a housing community, and people who sold their lands were given the most money if they sold right away, and less to those who waited. And the residents were promised that they could return to the land once it was developed. However, there was different plans. Bringing the Dodgers from Brooklyn meant big money and seemed to be more favorable than spending money on a public housing project, so the promises of a new housing community was dropped. And there was just a few residents who refused to sell their home that stood in the way of the new stadium, leading to a day known as Black Friday. Deputies would come into the communities and evacuate the remaining residents while bulldozers stood by, tearing down what was left of these communities and everything that these families had. Follow Buried Under the Blue if you want to support these communities that were displaced by the stadium, and you can sign the petition through the change link in their bio to help their cause.